Welcome once again to round 3 of Realm of Racing here at Circuit de Monaco, the famous, the infamous 2-mile track that'll have these drivers full attention trying to navigate one of the most difficult circuits of the season. It is 19 turns and some of the most famous corners in all of motorsports, such as Sandoval, the Grand Hotel Hairpin, 48, the Nouvelle Chicane, and many more that should create some of the most tight racing we've seen this season. And with it starting to heat up, with me in the booth as always, my man Hunter. How you doing tonight?
Yes, sir, man. I'm excited for this one. This is one of my favorite tracks on the entire calendar. One of the most probably hated by some. It's like one of those tracks you love. You love Monaco until you come to it. Like you don't want to be on the track, but it's such a great track, such a famous and historic track, and man, it's raining in the quali right now, so it's going to be a very tough session as we already have the AlphaTauri of Leclerc 1090 who's subbing in tonight in the wall, so already proving to be very difficult as I'm watching guys just on their outlaps, just squirming around. Rua going through the first chicane, barely able to get through without a lockup or nearly touching the wall, so this is going to be a difficult quali to say the least, and then the race is going to be full attention.
Oh, yes, sir. Looks like Groovy's just about to start a lap now.
This is going to be very interesting. Groovy, obviously, he runs with no lines, so this is going to be... I don't know how much practice he's managed to get in for the wet, but this is going to be a very tough race for, I think, everybody. But, yeah, he looks like he's just struggling a little bit, but who isn't at this point in time?
Who was expecting a wet qualifying here at Monaco, but should be exciting. No, from our point of view.
Oh yeah, I mean, for us, this is great. Like this is this is probably the best situation we could have wished for. But for the drivers, yeah, I can tell you, I wouldn't want to be out there getting all soaked.
Yeah. It looks like car behind Groovy had a little bit of a moment, but he's still clean going through the tunnel now.
Nander actually just barely taps the wall. Looks like he's gonna probably have to go back to the pits on his outlap. That's unfortunate. Ruby's still on this lap, I believe.
Oh, and he runs deep at the Nouvelle Chicane there, and I don't know if he's going to abandon this one or not now. They're probably still putting in the time, but it's definitely going to be affected.
Ooh, almost hits the wall there, but I think he manages to keep it out of the wall. Doesn't look like he has any damage.
Oh, everyone is struggling.
Turn.
Wow.
You do want to get in a decent banker, so Tails puts in the first lap of the race, 125.197.
Yeah, it's oh, Groovy goes right into the wall. Sandoval, he's out.
Oh, I actually just missed that.
It's gone.
Oh no, that's unfortunate for Groovy. So that's gonna end his quali. At least he was able to put in one lap, but it was a 128. It wasn't that competitive.
It looked like I'm not sure what happened there. He had a little bit of a lockup, but it was the first lap. I'm not sure if he was trying to go for a second lap because of I messed up.
He probably was.
There.
I mean, you don't need the tires, so it's not a bad idea to go for a second push lap. It's kind of like the mediums in terms of how they work with the heating. Ooh, yes, Canadian definitely hits the wall. He actually invalidates there. Probably going to go straight into the pits with that damage. He does.
Looks like the two Ferraris of NRX Jackson and he's on an out lap here, but it looks like Jackson is on a hot lap here.
Yeah, it looks like he has put it. Oh, he's going to invalidate right there.
That
couldn't make the turn. And it looks like his teammate couldn't either. Yes, his teammate has just hit the wall. He's currently on the side of the road. Hopefully
I would put that
keeps
one
the car
up there
moving.
as one of the most difficult corners in the whole game, for sure.
Especially in the wet. I mean, you can't... It's downhill, so the braking is so difficult. So you're going downhill, and gravity just is pushing you forward and down. And it's not necessarily great for getting the car slowed down. I completely agree that first chicane, as there's a wheel on the track, actually.
Just a random wheel.
Yeah, there's a
hanging out on the track.
Max Verstappen moment. There is a wheel on the track. But yeah, that's what I was saying. It's a very difficult turn. No doubt about that.
I would not be opposed to them revising that corner and just widen it just a little bit with the cars nowadays. The circuit was built so long ago when the cars were a lot smaller. Nowadays, cars are a little bit too big
You
for
almost
this.
wonder if they could do what they did at Baku this year with Castle, and where they almost kind of just skim out some of that inside curve, or that inside that inside wall. Just kind of push it back a little bit and maybe like round it a little bit more.
Yeah, taper it a little bit.
I think it would be a much better corner for overtaking because there's just not only is it hard to make that in general, it's tough to. It's really not an overtaking place anymore.
No. And in this circuit, you're already inches away from the wall at so many corners. I think, yeah, they just tapered that wall off a little bit, but...
And I agree, and I think maybe there could be an issue with doing that, though, in the fact that it might be an issue more so of maybe not having the space. The ocean is somewhere along, like right there. I'm not too sure.
Right in the harbor.
Yeah,
they
so
don't have a lot
I get that they have
there.
a lot of things kind of holding back. And actually, we missed
this
this
moment in the same corner right there too.
We missed this, but TC is DNF'd as well. Milky and TC have both DNF'd. So TC, one of was the McLaren.
There goes J-Mick.
He's nearly losing it, but he's just barely keeping it together. Alfa Romeo in front of him does manage to keep out of the way. I don't think he'll be an issue.
That just shows you the conditions, how difficult it is. Some of the top drivers are DNF'd here today.
So J-Mick actually decides to abandon that lap. He did it invalidate.
Yeah, I cannot tell if Nat and the Alfa Romeo are both on a hot lap here or not.
I mean, look at the gap right now. There's only 5 times. We're 10 minutes into this qualifying session, and there's only 6 times put in. 2 of them which are really competitive, and that's from Tails and Bio. Tails and Bio honestly battling right now for pole position. Tails just put in a new lap, 123.5.
And then Bio spins right when you say that, clips the same chicane, and that is going to mess up the Mercedes lap as well. Looks like Not So Vapor had to abandon his lap.
So it looks like the second out lap, or the second push lap of Bio's qualifying session is basically in the toilet. So he'll have to go back into the pits, put on a new set of wets, and hopefully, or maybe he could probably stay out on these if he wanted to, but I would think that he'll probably go in and slap a fresh set on and wait for a little bit deeper into the session.
As the Mercedes and the Ferrari both touch, Not So Vapor and the Ferrari. I'm not sure if that was that cluster T.
Very dangerous going into the pits. They could be getting the game does love to give grid place penalties for qualifying and practice taps. They do want to be careful with that. Looks like Nat might be going. Nat's on his 4th lap on these tires, so it's proven that you can do several laps on one tire.
As Jackson invalidates once again there at the same corner. That chicane is just almost in the wet. Is so difficult to get the car to stop and turn in.
Let's see here. So we do have some more times coming in. 7 minutes left. Groovy still sitting in 7th position right now as he's DNF. So he's probably sitting there thinking, well, I'm not in too terrible of a position right now. I can still do something if I maybe make it through. Obviously, I think as this 6 minutes and 30 seconds goes on left in the session, I think it probably will drop down the order. But for now, we've got Nander on track, looking like he's about to put in hopefully his first time of the session, going through turn 1 right now. And I mean, there's been such the game is still so fresh and still so new. Like, there just hasn't wet weather racing, to me, it's not something you can really force. Like, it really just comes with like experience in the game.
Oh, for sure.
So it's just everybody is just gonna be absolutely struggling. I mean, there's gonna probably be a couple guys that are just naturally gifted at the wet, just naturally kind of understand the physics and everything that's going on, but
I feel a comparison from last year's game in the wet. The cars definitely are a little bit more unstable. Oh, and it's going to mess up Nanner's lap. Is he going to get around him? It might have
Should.
affected his time there a little bit.
Maybe a little bit of a distraction. He does keep it going, though, into the chicane. Does he make it? He does. He doesn't invalidate, but he goes a little bit wide.
Had to go a little wide there, but definitely keeps it on the track.
This is one of the scariest turns right here. Scariest sections of the track in general. Touching that curb just really might send you into the absolute shadow realm. Does well to avoid the wall on the right there. Keeps it together. Going through the last part of the track. Don't hit your right wheel on that wall. You will spin around. No DRS. Going straight towards the line. Let's see what he puts in. And it's good enough for 6th place, a 126.2. As there's a McLaren.
Yeah, it was J-Mick as DNF'd.
So we have. So J-Mick has not put in a lap, so he will be starting towards the end of the pack.
Already 5 cars already out.
And I mean, this is gonna lend towards a very interesting race. We're gonna have some fast boys at the back. J-Mick, TC, who are gonna be very, very anxious. Milky as well, gonna be very anxious to try to not be in the back of that pack. But Monaco, man, it's so narrow. It's so tough to overtake if the person ahead.
Not a lot of places.
If the person ahead doesn't make a huge mistake, and it's not even a small mistake, if they don't make a huge mistake, there's no room for the overtake.
A lot of times when there is a gap to make an overtake, like you're saying, from a mistake, it's still almost a questionable move where you have to send it. Yes.
It's very hard to do anything without contact, and in this game where, you know, you do have side pod damage now, you have floor damage now, side floor damage. So all these different variables, all these different types of damages, you can't. It makes side-by-side racing, wheel-to-wheel racing a little bit more difficult for sure.
Oh, for sure. And like this track, not a lot of places. This quality's so crucial right now. This leader still has the same time up at 123.5.
Right.
Looks like Jackson's trying to throw in another lap here. 4 laps on them tires, like you're saying. A lot of these guys have multiple laps on these tires.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would do personally. Last year, I think people started to realize that, okay, these wet tires actually last a decent amount of time under quality trim, and plus, obviously, you won't need them. And we would do. I mean, in the faster lobbies, we would do, you know, sometimes 5 laps, 6 laps on a pair of wet or intermediate tires if we knew we didn't need them. So, yeah, it's definitely the smarter thing to probably go ahead and do several laps, because just like the mediums, they take some time to get warmed up.
Oh, and the Ferrari goes straight again, right into Sandoval.
Oh, his wing is gone. NRX Jackson's wing is absolutely gone.
I was on board with Bio as he was on his hot lap, and he made a mistake, and I just seen the Ferrari full speed into the wall in the distance. Yeah, it's so hard to get the car to stop there. That's such a fast corner when you're coming down that straight, really.
So I'm on board with Gelfie now. He's putting in what most likely will be, if not his final lap, his second to last lap. But this is a fast lap for him, because I did see him putting in, at least I believe I saw him put in his out lap. But yeah, no, Gelfie, he's had a little bit of a little bit of a tougher season than I would have expected. He hasn't had the most luck finishing outside, I believe, outside of the top 5 in both of the first 2 races. So, which
is a little unexpected, but
right. Oh, there's a Ferrari. Okay, so he is just waiting. Yeah, I thought he was just crashed out, but he was just staying off of the racing line. He is
missing the front wing.
Oh yeah, that's Jackson.
Out of the way.
He was the one missing that front wing from the first turn. But Gelfie's still going on through the chicane.
A little bit of a lock up there, but he keeps it on track.
Keeps it nice and tight. That was a decent line, better line than I've seen from most of the drivers through there.
Like you're saying, this part is one of the most difficult parts because it's so faster there, and you can upset the car so easy
like
running them curves.
It very tighty. This is looking like a really good lap from him.
I agree.
Almost touches the back wheel, just barely keeps it together. Final turn. Let's see what Gelfie's able to put in here. Surely he's improving. He's improved, but he hasn't
not move up.
So he might
Wow.
put in another lap maybe, but I'm not sure it's going to really do much. He gets
44
into
seconds
P6.
left.
Improves 2/10, but not enough to beat the lap of Nat Hammer, 5 thousandths off of Nat Hammer's time in 5th.
This looks like Canadian is trying to improve on his as well. He is sitting in P3 right now. Got quite a few on track right now. Rua, Nat, and it looks like David as well. David back at P9. A little bit of a shocker too. He sends it down, coming into the hairpin here. He's gonna try to hug that. Oh, he's missing this front wing now. Okay, so that is why he is running so slow through there.
Are you talking about Canadian?
No, David Chahoud.
Oh, okay. And that wheel is still actually sitting there for me in the 3rd sector. That's funny.
I've seen it a couple times. Yeah, that's interesting.
So Canadian getting ready for his final lap, but it seems like there's zero. This has happened a couple weeks in a row.
He missed it.
Where there's 0 time left, but well, like for us.
For us,
but they are still able to put one in.
He definitely stopped.
Right.
He definitely hesitated
probably
and waited
knew.
there.
And it does look like he is pushing, because that is not the line that your AIs will take, I don't believe. So, staying on board with Canadian, who's currently in 3rd place. I mean, the time for pole is a very good time. 23.2 is a very good time for a wet session. So, I think that'll be very hard to beat for a lot of these boys. I would almost assume like the positions will probably, at least in the top 3, probably stay a little bit towards how they are. But let's see what Canadian can do here towards the end of the session.
As that's Tails pulling right behind him too. He's gonna let Tails go by.
Okay, so he's just completely abandoned that lap. Yeah.
And Tails is gonna try to
Tails
but
actually
not get the corner.
Yeah. So neither one of them even ends up being able to finish their respective laps. Kind of getting tangled up on each other. Kind of unfortunate for both.
Oh, and Nat is invalidated. Okay, so it's like Nanner, is he gonna improve on this lap? Oh, goes super slow to that corner. Almost scrapes the wall. Coming around the final corner here. Down the main straight, and
he goes
does
into 5th.
Improve, goes a P5.
Wow, a 125.5.
I think he was the last one. Oh no, Canadian is still out there, but nope, he cannot improve on his time though.
This race starts, I'm gonna use the restroom. So Celestial, try to keep him entertained.
Oh man, pressure is on. Nah, as it looks like everyone has finished now. Tails P1, Bio P2, Canadian Necktie rounding out P3. It's like Jackson, who did have a couple moments there, but still keeps his time at P4 though. So that was a very interesting quali in the wet right there. I'm not sure how many drivers were expecting that, but this quali being so crucial to the racing today. This looks like Nanner's going to round out P5, Rua P6, Nat Hammer P7, Golfy keeps P8, David Chahoud P9, Not So Vapor going to round up the top 10. Very tight for the top 5 right there, all within, roughly within a second or two. And obviously we had about 6 drivers DNF, didn't even get one lap in. It just shows you how difficult the conditions were out there for this quali session right there. But we're going to see what happens. It looks like, oh, Power Up does have a 5-place penalty right there. I'm not sure what could have happened in quali, but
all right, you said Power Up has a good place penalty?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the incidents here. Let's see how he could have acquired that right there.
It must have been, you know, I said earlier that they love to give penalties for contacts in quali or practice. It could have even been for possibly holding up somebody. He's had issues with that last round. So who
illegal
knows?
Blocking. It does
illegal
say
blocking.
illegal
so
blocking.
He has been penalized for that. I mean, it's crazy.
He's gonna lose P11,
and that's unfortunate. I kind of almost wonder. It'll be interesting to see who he maybe blocked. I'm sure somebody will come in and say, but with it being Monaco, it's so difficult not to, you know. It can be pretty tough to get out of the way sometimes. So
Oh, for sure.
A little bit understanding of that mistake, so unlucky to power up. But yeah, 20 seconds here until we get this started up. As we said, it is a dry race, so nothing to worry about there for the drivers at least. But on Monaco, you can't lose your concentration. So
no, there's nowhere to really relax. I mean, even the two straightaways that they have, the main straight and the tunnel, there's not a whole lot of room there to relax your arms or nothing.
No.
You got to stay focused pretty much 100% of the time on this track.
No, so the starting grid here is Hales, who is starting on mediums. We didn't notice that we're going to be having a lot of different strategies here because they are open. Bio starting on the hards in second. Let's see, that's Canadian in third on mediums. NRX Jackson in fourth on softs. I mean, the tire strategies is going to be super interesting. Just in our top 5 alone, we've got, you know, all 3 different strategies. So, you know.
Yeah, I did not have that up yet. Wow, so this is going to make the racing very interesting here.
Right.
And it looks like the last the back are all on hards.
Yeah.
So are they going to try to push their tires as far as they can? We're going to see.
As I continue down, it's 6th place Rua on the mediums, Nat in 7th on the softs.
Jackson spins
on the lap. Is he okay? Luckily he can't get damage.
Okay. Yes.
Luckily he can't. But Gelfie in 8th on the mediums, David in 9th on the mediums, Vapor in 10th starting on hards, Groovy in 11th starting on hards as well, trying to go the distance, trying to get these undercuts possibly later into the race. 12th is Krustier T on the mediums, Carney in 13th on hards, J-Mick on the mediums in 14th, Leclerc in 15th, Power Up in 16th, Thunder unfortunately down in 17th, and Milky, who has also just been struggling quite a bit this season, in last place starting on the hards as well. So
did not even get the lap in quali, so it's gonna be a difficult race for him to try to score some points here. But we'll see what they can do. The grid's forming up now. We are so excited for this one.
This is
Monaco.
gonna be a good one. The grid's filling up.
They're taking their time about it though.
All right, the lights are
rising. And once again, it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a glitch for us.
Oh no! It is.
For me
it has been another glitch.
Here in
Canadian
Monaco.
looks like he's already taken Bio.
Oh, the Bio's going to.
There's going to be some contact.
Oh no! Canadian's going to take the lead. Tail second, Jackson third.
I do not even know. I was watching the leaders, but I have no clue what's just happened.
No, the cameras were a little jacked up for me as well there, but they single file down into the hairpin now.
Ooh, the Alpine and the Haas going side by side. It looks like there's a little bit of some damage. They all just kind of hit the back of each other going into the hairpin.
Such a domino effect.
Take a look at the wings through the tunnel. Doesn't look like major damage yet for anybody. Oh, the Haas is into the wall. Definitely damage for Nander.
Make the move.
Definitely damage for Nander in the Haas.
Oh, and J-Mick's gonna have to cut the corner because they got a little bit of contact there.
J-Mick 3-second penalty for cutting that cutting that corner. So Canadian has taken the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix on the first lap, and we have a yellow flag.
Trust the T is out of the race.
We have a DNF. Will this be a safety car? No,
yeah,
it doesn't look like it.
I really moved down there, but I seen Canadian dip down to the inside there. I confused him with Bio. Looks like he hugged the apex into turn 1 and just held it.
I'm looking at Bio's on board right now, and I can't tell why he's falling back. Let me take a look. He is on the hards. So maybe this is somewhat expected that he's losing out to, you know, 2 medium runners and a soft. But I don't think he has damage. So
no, but he's got a lot of pressure from that on softs right behind him.
Right, correct. This battle for the front 4 could be very interesting. And if Nat's able to get past Bio, it could be, you know, it could be very, very interesting. Nat is very known. He's well known for his first lap. He loves to start on the soft tires. He gets very good starts. So it's just, will he be able to get past him on a track like this? That's another question. It's Monaco, baby.
If he's going to, he's going to want to capitalize sooner rather than later, because these offs are going to fall off pretty, not rapid, but they're definitely going to fall off a lot quicker than the hards.
So
but this track being so tight, you could probably run the hards for quite a while, I imagine.
So now that we've kind of calmed down, let me take a look at the positions changed. Canadian getting up 2 positions, taking both second place and first place on the first turn. I really wish we would have had a better view of that, because I think I did not see what was going on there. But Bio losing out the worst out of the top 4, losing 2 positions. Nat gaining 2 positions on those softs. J-Mick gaining 4 positions on, I believe he's on the mediums. And I think the biggest loser being Nander and Not Sir Vapor, losing 9 positions in 5. There's a penalty for Jackson. 3 seconds.
Got a little greedy on that corner there.
So already some penalties for us on the board. Not Sir Vapor with 5, Carney with 3, J-Mick with 3, and Jackson with 3. Jackson's round. He's hit that. The wall there. His back right tire.
Around the outside.
His back right tire hit the wall, and it just spun him right around. He tried to take it too narrow.
We'll keep a look to see if he's gonna have any damage to that tire. If he has a puncture in his side
pod. Maybe some like floor or side pod, but I think he would be okay, because it looked like just a wheel tap.
Bio with a great move to capitalize on it and send it around the outside, went around the final turn here, and he's on hards P3, trying to make these hards last.
Yeah, him being on those hards, it's a very good strategy that he's on. If he can maybe close the gap a little bit to Tails and Canadian and get involved in this battle. He's 5 seconds behind right now, so I think he needs to be closer right now, because Canadian and Tails right now are just running away with it right now. And they're keeping it close as well. It's definitely, Tails may have lost the lead there on turn 1, but he is definitely still like sniffing at his tails.
Gearbox.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it looked like to me that Canadian had such a great start. It dipped down to the inside corner there to send the ball and just sent it and held that apex. And just such a beautiful move to take the lead. And that could be the move of the race. We don't know yet, but...
And I mean, DRS is enabled now, too.
So crucial here.
David right now just sitting in a train behind Rua and Gelfi. Not really able to make too many moves right now, especially in a train. I mean, being the 3rd car into the DRS train is probably the worst place to be, unless it's Baku.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of slipstream here.
It's, yeah, you're not really getting, you're getting a lot of dirty air back there in the pack. Yeah. But, I mean, he's keeping with the pack, so maybe just waiting for a mistake. But, I mean, these guys are getting nicely... acquainted with the track. It looks like everybody's kind of getting through the race without too much damage. We've got a couple guys with damage, but it's not been too bad. No incidents, I don't think, as of yet. No collisions, nothing like that. So good racing from the boys. Both the McLarens right now. J-Mick must have went into the pits because he is on fresh hards, and he's right now just chasing after his teammate Thunder. And it looks like we do have a DNF, Nander in the Haas.
Yeah, it looked like he got in the wall with the leaders not too far behind him back there, and just going to stay out the way, though. It looked like he had a lot of damage once again.
Man, unfortunate for Nander.
But Tails is not close enough for that DRS last lap.
So it looks like he's falling back a little bit, 7/10 behind at the moment.
A little bit of a...
Bio is still just staying ahead of NRX Jackson, but they are both still falling back to the leaders right now. 6.5 seconds back to those leaders, back to Tails. As Tails does get a 3-second penalty for corner cutting.
Oh no.
And a track
Jackson
that you
gets
wouldn't
by
think would
Bio.
be that difficult. Oh, the AlphaTauri is round! The AlphaTauri is DNF'd!
And Tails is out of the race!
And that might be a safety car. He is basically on the track still. I got that right on the camera. That was... He just went over that curve of the first chicane and it just went on him. That's so unfortunate. And Canadian Necktie now has an 8-second advantage on the second place man. This is looking great for him.
Wow, I did not get to see that, but them curves, as soon as you run over one of them, you could be sent flying in the air.
Something we didn't get to see during that collision. NRX Jackson got past Bio again.
Yeah, Jackson or Bio had a little bit of a moment there, but it looks like there's gonna be no safety car, and they're gonna continue racing.
So
a little bit of a.
It's very interesting because yeah, somebody did mention that they had just done a league race here, and had a couple people get killed, and no DNFs or no safety cars. I'm sorry, even for some cars on track and stuff like that with ghosting off. So. Yeah, it might be a little bit of a glitch. Maybe in the future, for future seasons, we'll end up putting the safety cars on extra or whatever the higher standard
just
is. Or
for these tracks.
But either way, I think it's more pure like that. It might not mess up the strategy, so we still get to watch some pretty good racing. As you guys see, fourth and back is a pretty nuts battle.
Say there's kind of a close gap between fourth all the way back to Prix. P7 back there. They're not too far. As this softs might be starting to fall off a little bit now. 8 laps in, and Nat has got a train of people behind him with a lot fresher tires than him.
So David has made up 2 positions, and he's just in that train right now with Gelfi and Rua. He's actually catching up. I'm sorry, he's catching up to the train of Gelfi, Rua, and Nat. So, I mean, this is about to be a 4-person battle now. And let's be honest, I think Groovy might catch the guys too. I think Nat's softs are really starting to fall off here.
Yeah, he's looking to close that gap too. As Groovy's already getting pretty close to the back of that train as well, like you were saying.
Because
I'm not sure how much longer he's gonna be able to hold him off.
Ooh, Canadian!
Is he gonna
just
make the
drifted around the second chicane? Oh my goodness! I split to him for just a second, and he almost bended in the wall. Close call, but if you're doing that on the mediums, I can't imagine what it feels like right now on the softs.
No, it cannot feel good. As the Alpine almost went around Rua through the tunnel there. Golfi is super hungry right here. He feels these cars are holding him up, and he is going to look to capitalize on these two here.
Yeah, this train of cars has been going for quite a while, and the longer Nat stays out, the more he actually benefits from this, because he can just get the fresher meat. By the time that he gets into the pits, their mediums are going to be gone as well, and it's going to be time for them to pit. So they wouldn't have even really gotten any gain out of it. So the longer Nat keeps these guys behind and is able to keep these tires going, the longer he's just going to be able to. I mean, the more he's going to be able to gain. Because these boys won't be able to get. If their tires are gone, once he goes into the pits, let's say they stay out, they won't have the tires to even get an overcut on Nat. Nat will just get the undercut if they go for that. So it's a very good strategy right now, just keeping that.
Long.
Yes, sometimes too far.
He almost pushed it 20 plus laps.
Right. Sometimes he pushes too far. I remember last season. I remember a couple times he got a puncture and he's going slow through the corner. The Red Bull almost made contact.
Oh, and I think they did because he ghosted for a second there.
That goes into the pits. That's why they made contact.
Rua's going to keep DRS, takes advantage of that. And
so Rua probably
so
thankful that he's finally going to get on to onto some free air. So Rua gets into the 3rd place after some of the pit stops. Still on the mediums. J-Mick picks up another 3-second penalty. Where does Nat come out? He comes out in, it looks like P9, yeah.
9, roughly.
And unfortunately, actually, I think it's behind a bot as well. Leclerc is not, I don't think, here.
Yeah, if he's gonna stay 7 seconds in front of Power Up and J-Mick and Thunder, as both McLarens are running towards the back, not having a good race right now.
Yeah, they've been running together for a little while. Thunder did let J-Mick pass, but J-Mick has not been able to get around Power Up.
And Canadian still increasing his lead ever so much. 14,
right.
Almost 15-second gap now.
Which is kind of surprising.
He might have a pit stop in his back pocket if he continues this.
You would want to think that the crossover should be starting to happen now. We're 11 laps in, the mediums might be starting to wear out, and the hards should really be hitting their stride. But Canadian just in a league of his own right now, honestly.
Yeah, as you see a lot of the hard starters starting to get further up the grid now. TC, Groovy. I'm not sure, did Leclerc start on these? Okay, no, he did not, because they're 9 laps old, so he did not start on these hards, but...
So
looks like Nasso Vapor's going to retire another DNF.
Dang, unfortunate for the Mercedes driver. He's had, I think he's had 2 or 3 DNFs now in a row. Oh, they're going close through the hairpin, David and Groovy. Groovy is right on the back.
Yeah, there's not a lot of places to go. A lot of these corners are only 1 wide and 2 do not go into 1. But we'll see if somebody's going to try to make it work.
Oh my goodness, they're so close to the... Oh, he goes deep! The Aston goes deep! Oh, and he closes the door.
The wheel beside him, but not going to be able to make the move.
And that's going to lose them time now. Gelfie is right on the back. Oh, he's thinking about it. Oh, there's a ghost! It's ghosting! It's ghosting! He's able to go through, but the Red Bull goes to the pits. So Gelfie now in 3rd place. David now in 4th place. Where do they come out? This is going to be interesting, especially with Nat going for the earlier pit stop. He's still behind the bot of Leclerc 10:90.45, and I think he's going to be able to ghost through him. I did forget they did vote to actually have ghosting on this race. I'm forgetting about these things because this is like a one-off thing. Ghosting will be off for future races, but we were hounded by the drivers, so we kept them happy with this. The drivers are princesses. We had to make them happy.
Gotta keep them happy.
So, not even halfway into the race, though, we've got 5 retirements. Milky up into P13 now. He started in last place, so just keeping his nose clean. Not necessarily doing the fastest times, but he's getting through the race. He must...
Cards are only 6 laps old, too, so...
Well, we have to remember, man, is he most likely, and I almost want to stay on board with him to see, most likely has some pretty bad floor or side pod damage. If he's... Because I know Milky, I'd like to make fun of him a lot. Looks like his floor is okay, actually.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Oh, no, the left side floor is destroyed, it looks like. I can't tell because it's like reflecting. Oh, when he came around that
corner, yeah. No, it did look like there was some shark bites in there.
So I don't know. It looks like the right floor looks perfectly fine, and then the left side of the floor looks pretty damaged. So probably some incident into turn 1.
It's like Thunder gets a move on Power Up. That was a nice move.
So both the McLarens now passed Power Up. J-Mick can now make inroads towards Rua possibly, but Rua obviously already having pitted, I believe. Yes, he has. His tires are 1 lap old, so J-Mick has lost a lot of time here. I don't know if J-Mick is going to be able to drag those hards till the end.
I don't believe so. Once again, the leaders check on Canadian. He's almost 20 seconds
ahead.
Up.
Wow.
He might be able to throw. Just go ahead and throw a set of the mediums on.
I mean, it says he's done 13 laps. He had.
Caballo
Caballo's just now crossing the line, and Canadian is going through the hairpin right now. He's already lapping people. So a great performance so far from Canadian. But nonetheless, this battle for P3, 4, 5, and 6 still raging on. I mean, it's still interesting.
All within 1 second.
It's unfortunate, I think, NRX Jackson having that moment. And also Tails too. I mean, our leader, our pole position.
Exciting.
It could have been a very good battle.
Battle to the end, but Yeah, it looks like no one's still able to make much moves. Except Golfy's still going to retain P3. David following close behind Golfy right there as well. Fell back a tiny bit through there. TC2 trying to stay with him here.
And I think a big mistake TC made during this race is picking up that 3-second penalty. That's going to really hurt him. Milky and J-Mick both have 6 seconds of penalties, but they are towards the back of the field, so maybe it won't. The gaps are bigger towards the back of the field, so maybe it won't matter as much, but it'll still probably lose them at least a position, as the Williams definitely just lost a wing, and I think that was actually Groovy. I think he just lost an end plate. Let me try to get a closer look. Yes, his left end plate is gone.
Oh. Did he come around that corner a little bit too tight?
He came around. No, he actually dragged it too wide. The second to last corner. He's going to get overtaken here by Carney. No, he's going to keep the position still.
He's defend.
And probably some major oversteer or understeer here.
It's going to be very bad, but you might be able to defend a little bit better here just from how tight the circuit is, but it is going to be so difficult for him to navigate with that damage.
And I mean, he's gonna be trying his dearest to keep TC behind, because TC has that 3-second penalty. So the longer that Groovy can keep TC behind, we'll see if. Oh, and Groovy picks up a 3-second. The commentators curse. No, but so I was gonna say the longer he could keep him behind, the better it would obviously be for him. As
DC's right there. Is he going to look to make a move?
It almost seems impossible at this point that he won't get overtaken, but it's Monaco. Who knows what will happen?
He is so close going into the DRS zone. Let's see if he's going to make it into turn 1. He falls back. Did not have a great exit. No, I think he fell back just a little bit too far. Did not have the best
actually
exit.
Managing this damage pretty well for the time being. Probably still obviously losing time right now. Definitely losing time right now to David. Loads of time right now. Losing tenths every corner to David as I'm looking at the interval. Just as I've started looking, it's been a second almost of time that they've lost. So TC is going to be so desperate to get past here.
I mean, he is within inches of the gearbox going through the hairpin there. I mean, he is so desperate to get by. He just knows he's losing time, but Groovy is going to defend as hard as he can. And I do not blame Groovy here for trying to defend as tough as he can here. The TC is going to dip down, not going to be able to make the move again. Just so tight through here.
And you can just see the aero difference when they head into some of these corners, because... Oh, he touches the wall again! Oh! Yeah,
he's gonna let TC by.
He's just gotten, I think he's possibly picked up more damage there. I think that might put him into the pits. We'll see here. Does he decide? I think he skips out on it. No, he's gonna stay out. That hammer is closing in on him as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's an interesting move. Nat is gonna look to make the pass here soon. I'm not sure if Nat's gonna be able to close him down.
And now TC is gonna be on the charge of his life. He is going to be pushing harder than he ever has to push, or to catch up to the group that he was racing with. It was a battle for P3, 4, and 5, and 6.
10-second gap now.
And now,
already.
Yeah, that gap was just dragged out by
Groovy there.
So yeah, Groovy must have picked up more damage when he hit the wall on the second chicane there.
Yeah, once again, he's fell back a little bit more now, 23.1 seconds back.
That picks up a 3-second penalty.
I don't know if this strategy now is going to pay off as great for the leader, because there's definitely no undercut going.
And it looks like everybody's picking up that penalty after in the chicane right after the tunnel. They're probably trying to cut it a little bit too much. As I was watching that, that's definitely where he picked up that, I mean, his final warning before getting that 3-second penalty. So
almost only one line to really run there without cutting the corner or hitting the wall.
Groovy is in the pits right now. He's going to decide to change that wing out. What is he going to put on? He's going to put on the mediums. So massive time lost here.
All the way to P11 now.
But the
He's gonna
fresh
lose a
mediums,
lap as well.
I mean, he should be able to catch Thunder, who's on 16-lap-old mediums. And most likely also Thunder probably will have to pit again. I'm not too sure, but I think he would have to pit again. As J-Mick gets past Leclerc and is into 8th now on those 13-lap-old hards.
I was gonna say Nat and Carney are having quite a battle here.
Oh yeah, I'm
as
just
Carney's
hopping on board now.
17-lap-old hards, and he was trying to defend with everything he's got.
Defending against TC. He's heading into the pits. He's heading into the pits. Did he start on those? I'm wondering.
I think no, he had an incident lap 1. That's correct.
Interesting.
And
okay.
Went and threw them on. Yeah, because they're 17 laps old.
So the only people on the same tires that they started on is the front 4.
18 lap old mediums,
and actually both Power Up, I think, as well, and Leclerc.
So they're pushing these mediums. They're going to try to put them as
Canadian
far
into the pits. He has the. I think he has the gap. Let's see here. Canadian into the pits. He has a 24-second gap on 2nd place.
This is going to be close here. Which obviously Bio would have to pit once again anyway. Or
Bio's coming through the second to last corner. I don't know.
And he's gonna keep it.
He's gonna easily keep that gap. Easily keep the lead.
Wow.
And he's gonna come out with about a 5-second, 6-second gap.
Yeah. So that not.
I mean, and Canadian, just if he keeps it clean, it's his race. But I mean, for the Alfa Romeo boys, this is looking like an easy one too. But
yeah, this would be quite a finish in the constructor.
For how unlucky they've gotten in previous races, this is a great comeback for them.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, it looks like Golfy and David, they're still pretty close.
TC did not lose many positions. So TC was in 5th, if I remember correctly, and he's now in 7th. And so he really hasn't lost much. He's quite a ways. Actually, no, he's not too far behind the Red Bull of Rua. Nat, however, is quite a bit up the road. So it'll be interesting. I'm still very curious on these strategies. I almost want to see. Let's see how many stops everybody has.
Nat's tires would be almost 20 laps old, but from what we've seen, though, we've seen people run the mediums at least 18 laps. So
yeah.
I'm not sure how much his pace is going to fall off at that
point.
point.
Heading into the pits now. Heading off that undercut.
Or David is going to get by him. Golfy and David are both going to go ahead and get by him here.
So that's going to be a little bit detrimental depending on where Gelfie and David decide to pit, because they are the remaining 2 in the top 4 that have not pitted. Power Up and Leclerc also have not pitted, but I assume that they'll be coming in any time now, any lap now.
As we've had 4 cars DNF so far.
Let's see here.
It's like Carney is going to get by Rua there. That was a nice move by TC on the DRS. Looks
like ooh, and Canadian picks up a 3-second time penalty, so if things are close at the end, it could get interesting, but I think he'll most likely have run away with it by then. But
yeah, because I'm kind of surprised with the safety car not coming out with some of these incidents where the cars have definitely been stopped on track. I'm not sure if we're going to see one in this race now.
And it'll be interesting. It's almost like they're playing a game of chicken right now in 2nd and 3rd place with Gelfie and David. Who is going to pit first? Because they just keep going on these medium tires. 21 laps completed now on those medium tires, and they must be dead. They must be dead. Are they trying to do a medium soft? What's going on here? Now, David does really like to stretch out his strategies. I mean, he's been great on the tires in preseason and in races prior, so I think this might actually really benefit both of them if they're able to build this gap out still and come out on possibly fresh softs at the end. It might not matter for some of these because they'll be on old mediums, and maybe we'll see. It'll be very, very interesting. It'll be very interesting to see what happens.
No, we're not sure who is gonna bite first because one of them or both of them.
Oh, you're lagging a little bit, Celeste.
Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're good. I think you're good now.
A little technical difficulty.
Okay, yeah, you're definitely good now. All right, that scared me for a second, but no, we're all good.
It was my connection.
Okay. No, we're all good now. You sound fine. But yeah, no, this battle for P2 and 3 as Gelfie picks up a penalty. I literally saw him go a little bit too far inside on turn 1, trying to probably manage some of the understeer on those old mediums, and he picks up a 3-second penalty. That could be really, really unfortunate for towards the end of the race.
Not sure if David's going to try to capitalize now. One of the two are going to have to pit here sooner rather than later.
They have to, surely. Because, I mean, they're not necessarily losing time, but they're not gaining time now. Bio has already pitted onto the mediums, and he's closing in this gap on them. I mean, they're P2 and 3 are currently going through the chicane, and Bio is coming through the tunnel, so they're not too far off. Yeah, Bio only about 4 seconds behind David.
And Nat as well, and I'm not sure Nat's going to try to stretch the tires all the way to the finish. He's definitely going to try. I'm not sure how much pace he's going to have towards the end.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, if Golfy and David are going to throw on softs at the end, they're going to feel super racy, and we already know how much pace they have.
Yeah. No, that'll be very interesting. But it's where do you find the medium? Where do you find the balance between stretching those tires? Because if you go too long, yeah, you'll just end up losing so much time. Because for me, you really start to feel those tires degrading at like 30, not 30, but 40% to 50%. Whereas last year, really you dragged those things to 60% and you still felt okay. Like, yes, you're losing time, but you didn't feel like dangerous.
You didn't. You did.
So
the car didn't feel unstable.
And now you get to 40%, 50%, and especially 60%. You feel sketchy. You touch a curb or
track
something.
Position here is so important that even with fresh tires, there might not be nowhere to make it up at, really. If you lose track position.
I mean, and this track is all about pressure. If you can pressure somebody into making a mistake, I mean, that's basically that's basically a move in itself. You can force somebody into getting damage or something, because it's so hard to overtake.
Oh, for sure. Golfy and David are not gonna blink, and Bio is now in the picture, coming up in the rear
view. Yeah, we can see him in the background now. He's on the hill with them, yeah.
This is gonna be interesting here as Thunder move on Leclerc.
This is an obvious sign, though, that they're losing time. They need to go in the pits. This is an obvious sign. Yeah, they're losing so much time now. I think they have to go into the pits. If we take a look now, I think the pit lane is really only about 18, 17 seconds. It's a shorter pit lane than some. And yeah, they would have a lot of ground to catch up, even on those for softs. They would have a lot of ground to catch up because, I mean, they have Nat Hammer as well, only 6 seconds behind them. And then they do have a pretty big gap back to J-Mick, who is about 30-ish seconds behind. As well as Groovy being pretty close behind J-Mick. So, yeah, this is about to get really interesting, but I do think they should probably pull that trigger unless they don't really plan on pushing for a podium, because I would think that Bio and Nat are really the ones that are in that provisional P2 and 3.
Oh, for sure. Bio is sitting pretty good right now for at least P2, as we were saying. Canadian, it's his race to lose at this moment.
Yeah, correct.
As Bio is pushing in so close now, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make the move. He is right behind David. Now he's going to think about it going into the tunnel. Not going to be close enough, though.
So, yeah, this is going to be slowing all three of them down. If they don't end up hitting, Bio is going to hope. I just hope that Bio doesn't make a rash decision, because he really just needs to keep it on the track. These boys could just really pit right now and they could come out on the softs, and he knows that, but he has to be patient. He can't make any rash decisions. We saw him crash out in Bahrain when he was in the lead. We saw him get a pole taken away from him the very next race, and it just anything can happen in these races, so he just has to keep it calm.
Yeah, you want to keep composure for sure and stuff. He should be aware that they have to come in and pit again. He knows his tires are going to last to the end of the race. But it is so hard when you're in racing mentality and you're trying to make a move.
It's tough because, dude, Nat is closing this gap so quickly.
Closed up so much in such a short time. There's a little bit of contact there, it looked like, between the Alpine and David. It could be wrong, but it did look like he might have touched him just a tad.
We got to keep in mind that the only two guys in this top 6 right now without penalties is Bio and David.
Yeah, and there, like you were saying, Nat is closing in so much here. Is Bio feeling hungry?
I mean, he's now a second behind. He is basically caught, so he's going to be in this pack. And they're coming towards the pit lane again. We're going to see, will they hop into the pits? They will. Gelfie does hop into the pits. David stays out.
David's going to stay out. Bio with DRS wide open. Is he going to think about making the move? No, he's just going to hang behind.
Woo, they are
right
inches.
There. Wheel to wing. They are super close, running around Monaco. This is super exciting. As Bio, like you were saying, he's got to keep his head. Knows David's got to pit. As we see, he's going to come out in P5 as he throws on the softs.
So, yeah, Gelfie in a great position right now to get some really good points for the Alpines. But yeah, Nat now definitely on the back of Bio. So this fight right now, I mean, Nat is on 18-lap-old mediums, and he is right on the back. So I would imagine that if Bio gets some free air, that he'll be able to pull a gap. But who knows? Total Carney sets the fastest lap of a 1:10.9 in P8 right now. He's sitting behind the Alpha Tower, or the Alfa Romeo right now, I believe. I think he just got lapped.
David's not going to pit again. Bio this time is super close with DRS open. He's going to think about going around the outside this time. No.
It's close.
Okay, dip back on the inside. No.
David's able to keep that door shut. David's still staying out.
Bio has been using up a lot of ERS. He's down to 5%.
Yeah, I mean, and David's able to just kind of keep that. And he's going to still go into the pits, and he's going to come out with some probably around 50 to 60%, maybe even 70% ERS. So this is looking very good for him as he goes into the pits and tries to climb back up the positions. But let's not leave Gelfie out of this. Gelfie is closing this gap very quickly.
Don't think there's going to be a safety car, but Thunder has wrecked out in his
that's
DNF
unfortunate.
Of the race.
Where he looks like at the chicane after the tunnel. No.
Oh, and the cars. Oh, thankfully it is ghosting. We forget. I forgot it was ghosting there. In a normal week, that would have caused quite a mess.
And yeah, it looks like Bio now giving a little bit of space to David. Let's see, does he come in? No, he does not.
He is aware you have to stop at least once.
I think he is, hopefully.
I know.
But what an impressive display. I mean, he's just putting on, and I mean,
almost 30 laps on the mediums.
Yeah, that's very impressive. I don't think that you could catch me doing that, honestly.
You could catch me doing that right into the wall.
I don't think it's incredible. Yeah, no, that's not something easy to do. That is for sure. Let's see here. Yeah, no, David.
Nat's gonna think about making a move on Bio. This has affected Bio so much. Nat had a wheel on the inside of the hairpin.
Still not to stop. And Bio now being pushed back into the wrath of Nat. I mean, it's just honestly chaos. The fact that he hasn't pitted yet has just really opened up this race, because Nat really, I mean, he would have definitely had a comfortable, I think, P3, but now he's fighting, you know, for P2. It's obviously still Canadians' race to lose. Canadians just running away with it, 25 seconds ahead of all these guys.
Sure, it's DRS once again down the main straight, but I just don't think he's going to be able to. He's going to dip down to the inside, just not going to be able to make the move.
It's so impressive that David is able to continue braking so late on those old mediums. I can't believe he hasn't pitted yet. At this point, the softs, he's going to have extra. He's going to be able to do a whole nother stint on those softs by the end of the race. And I think he needs to go in as he has a little bit of a moment. Oh, there's a little bit of contact into the hairpin.
A little bit of a domino effect. They're so close here.
And let's not forget, dude, Gelfie is catching. Gelfie is catching. He is 8 seconds behind.
Left.
He is 8 seconds behind Nat right now. So that's the only reason why there's a yellow flag. Who's that for? That's a red flag. That's a blue car. That's Groovy. No.
Yeah, TC came around. I did not see what happened, but I did see the time change.
Another yellow flag. It looks like. Oh, he has DNF'd. Unfortunate for Groovy, man. He's been having some really bad luck. Yeah, David going another lap without pitting.
This is a very impressive feat that he is showing. I think at this point...
it's getting ridiculous, though, because he's losing seconds a lap to who he was fighting with.
For sure. Lost the podium, probably lost a lot of positions now, so now I think he's just showing off his talent.
He's just showing off at this point. I mean, because right now, Gelfie is definitely ahead of him. He has lost the position to Gelfie, for sure. I mean, he was behind him anyway. He didn't necessarily lose it, but he isn't going to have any chance of passing him.
Well, no, they do have the big enough gap to that. You're right. He would come out roughly a P6.
I mean, yeah, no, but now he's almost in question to can Carney possibly close the gap? I mean, probably not, but because he'll come out on the softs. But still, yeah, he should come out in P5, yeah.
P5, yeah. Oh, his Bio's gonna look to make a move
side by side.
Beside him. Can he cross back over?
No, not able to get the move done.
Braking so late. Now they're coming into lap traffic as well, though. The Haas of power up.
And David really does need to. David's gonna get a puncture, no? I don't know why. At this point, it truly is. It's like a battle of ratios. Like, he has done 90% of the race on mediums, and he's about to do maybe a short little stint on the softs. It's just not. It hasn't been a good strategy from him, to be honest.
I think he's looking for that sponsorship from Pirelli, showing off what they can accomplish.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that well, I don't know. Maybe he has beef with Bio. I don't know.
This will be interesting here, because at some point he's gonna have to make a move. Is Nat still gonna be close enough as they go around lap traffic now?
Haas. He goes into the pits finally. So Bio is unleashed.
As they both have DRS, Nat is not. I don't think Nat's gonna be able to close in like you're saying. He's got 24 lap tires. Bio now
13. Yeah, it's
way fresher tires.
Bio should be able to go, but I mean, no chance of Bio catching the Canadian necktie. He just has to keep his nose clean for the rest of this race, and they have an easy one too here. But still, Nat has done a great job. He's made up 4 positions, and I mean, Gelfie is gonna maybe challenge here in a little bit, but I don't know if he'll really have the tires to be able to challenge. And yes, we were right. David does come out in P5 in front of Carney.
Yeah, that'll be interesting with the soft 3-second gap between Golfi and Nat. I just don't know. Even if he can, it's one thing to close, another thing to pass.
J-Mix sets fastest lap. He's now in P7, so he will take the point for that fastest lap if it stays like this.
Yeah, J-Mix having a solid race starting in the back.
Yeah, I mean, not bad. Let me check how many he did make up. Yeah, he's made up 7 positions.
I think he had some damage early on. I did have a few moments into the wall. So
now, technically, the biggest winner right now is Milky in that Williams, having a slow and steady race. Starting from the back.
Trying to bring home some points for the Williams.
Keeping his nose in it. He's been in the pit lane 3 or 4 times, but he has made up 8 positions. He's in P10, bringing home a point. And yeah, also TC, Total Carney, starting in the back as well, making up 7 positions. J-Mick making up 7 positions. Rua actually being really the only one in the current field of drivers to go backwards.
Yeah, lost out early on and has not really been able to make it up.
Which is interesting because yeah, he's on a decent strategy here. I mean, he's on 10-lap old softs, so he pitted 4 laps before Gelfi did, so maybe a little bit too many laps on those softs. But
oh, a Canadian's gonna pit! Wow, Canadian pits and he is in third.
What?
Wow. And he's only 3 seconds back.
What has happened here?
Comes up behind, and Biohead.
Did he feel?
Decided to pit.
Did he feel like he was gonna get a puncture? What has happened?
Wow! And now they're super close. The race is on now. 3 seconds within the top 3.
I am absolutely in shock right now. My mouth is open. How did we miss this? What happened? Did he get damaged? He must have got damage.
He had to acquire damage somehow because he had a gap. He had quite a gap, but I don't know if he had a pit stop gap to change a wing, though. As he loses places to Golfi as well now.
Canadian's race has just gone to the toilet. He's got a 5-second penalty. No, what has happened?
Wow, Nat has a penalty. Golfi, Canadian has a penalty as well.
What has happened?
David P5.
Bio is gonna win this race almost surely.
2 laps left.
What has happened? I am still in shock. Gelfi is in for a podium. I mean, David is gonna pass Canadian most likely as well. Canadian will most likely finish in 5th if it stays like this. What has
I'm shocked. I am not sure.
I mean,
what just happened here, but the lead has swapped hands, and Bio now just staying clean the whole time is on for an amazing finish after losing out at the start of the race.
I already know.
4 positions,
I can already imagine what Bio is gonna say in the post-race interview, because he got his podium taken away by the stewards last race because of that spin, that incident with Lucas, the AlphaTauri in Spain. He went from P3 to P5, so if he gets this win, he's gonna be talking. He's gonna feel a certain way, so I can already see he's gonna be filled with confidence. But fair play to the man. He has driven a flawless race. I can't believe what has happened to Canadian. He's still challenging, however, Gelfi right now on track. However, that 5 seconds of penalties difference is going to be a huge difference. And I mean, maybe he's going to send it, feel like he has nothing to lose.
Not going to be able to close it, though. Golfi closed the door.
Gelfi going a little bit wide. They make a little bit of contact. It's so close.
Wow, and Nat is kind of slowing up this pack a little bit. Nat is going to be under super pressure, so is Canadian's going to think about it in the tunnel. Not close enough, though. Is he going to think about it into the Nouveau chicane?
They're so close right now. It's Gelfie could easily, I think, pass. I think Gelfie definitely has more pace. They're going to go side by side. No, they just barely. Gelfie stays ahead.
Thinks about making the move, decides better of it. Gonna keep his nose behind and wait for DRS here. This is super exciting here, even though he does have the penalty like you mentioned.
This is incredible racing. I mean, Nat on 28 lap old mediums, so I mean, dragging those mediums through the mud right now. So I mean, dude, it's working off for him. So fair play to him. Keeping P2 right now. There's one lap to go, and there's such a big fight for the final podium positions: P2, P3, and P4. And I mean, not to mention, David is also still catching the pack too, and he doesn't have any penalties, so things are gonna get mixed up towards the end, definitely.
Yeah, his Canadian thought about making the move there again into the Grand Hotel hairpin, but then not. And he is so close.
Might go for it. He's going side by side!
To the inside.
No, there's been contact! There's been contact!
Gone.
Oh, his wing is destroyed, and Canadian just absolute agony right now, and he's gonna get caught up by David. And he's gonna, oh man, so he's gonna drop down to P5. David is gonna pass him on track. David actually hits the wall.
Oh no!
They need to be careful.
Oh, and Goofy almost gets by Nat Hammer. That was a beautiful finish right there.
Insane from the boys. So, I mean, Canadian just, I mean, I don't know what happened there,
wow, what a finish.
We're gonna need
go ahead
to
and take
hear
that
from
win.
them and see what happened there.
Wow, this is such an exciting finish right here. Unexpected Canadian
And I
had
am
it
so
in his back
excited
pocket.
for this post-race interview.
And Goofy almost got by Nat there. Had the DRS go into the line and was so close.
What a race. What a race. And I'm gonna like already start getting the boys in here for these post-race interviews, because I'm really excited to hear from all three of our podium finishers. I mean, we expected chaos, but it was like it was controlled chaos. It was very good racing from the boys. I enjoyed,
for sure.
I enjoyed that race so much. I want to see what the final classification is from that race after all the penalties. So Bio in first place for the Alfa Romeo squad, Nat Hammer in second place, Gelfie in third, David Chahoud in fourth, Canadian dropping down to fifth, TC in sixth, J-Mick getting up to seventh place, Leclerc in eighth, ninth is Rua, and 10th is Milky. So the last, and then 11th is Power Up Groovy, DNFing unfortunately. So Power Up being the last of the point scorers. Sorry, the last of the finishers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very exciting. I definitely we need a little bit of clarification there on what happened. Canadian had to make that extra pit stop at the very end, and it cost him his race.
It cost him everything. I don't know.
Looked like the Alfa Romeos were going to run away with the easy 1-2. I mean,
I don't know what happened there, because it just seemed like surely he had that race in the bag, and after seeing
he had to acquire damage, like you were saying.
After seeing David take those mediums as far as he did, why did he need to pit? I feel like even if he had damage, he could have made that probably work. But we're gonna hear from some of these guys.
With both a good finish, starting P13, bring it all the way up to P6. Made up a lot of positions there. Nat Hammer as well, starting P7, all the way up to P2. Yeah, I'm very interested to see exactly what happened there, because definitely changed the outcome. All right, we're here with the post-race interviews. We're going to start off with our P3 finisher, Golfi, and the Alpine starting P8 and a beautiful drive to go ahead and get up there to P3. Almost got by Nat Hammer to take P2. Go ahead and tell us about your race today.
So I was afraid because at the final lap because Canadian almost took my podium because he was so desperate to overtake me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we did see that, the damage that he got.
there was no point because he's got 8 seconds time
Of penalties, yes, for sure. That was a little aggressive there.
Yeah, almost. Canadian David almost get me at the final lap. That's it.
That was a beautiful race, though, managing the tires.
Yeah, even with the, I've got side pod damage, so I don't know how I managed to get a podium. But
oh, so you had side pod damage early in the race.
Yeah, the first lap, someone hit me with my deck 2 times, I think.
Impressive drive out there.
Yeah, that was a great drive from Gelfi, definitely.
Thank you.
But yeah, we look forward to seeing more from Gelfi, and yeah, no, we've got our second place also here, Nat Hammer. I mean, you started on those softs, so what was your plan to, I noticed that you always like to, get really good starts off the line and try to make moves on the first lap. Was that your plan today?
Yeah, I had a 50% race last night, and I'd noticed that my starts were pretty good, so I thought I'd put the softs on just so I can get that punchy start and make up any positions off mistakes. I still managed to get wing damage in my first stint, but I held on to it till I was meant to pit and put on the mediums, and I figured I could either go medium soft or stay out on the mediums, but there's just never been any safety cars so far, so I thought if I stay out and people are doing a 2-stop, I can get in front, and I think that happened with Canadian. He stopped, I don't know if he started on the hards, but when he stopped, I just got in front of him, and then it was all about trying not to get a penalty and to try and fuel save on the last lap because I did run out of fuel in the last 50 meters, which is why Guelphy was up my ass.
Oh, okay, interesting. I didn't notice that you actually ran out of fuel.
Almost ran those mediums to the death of them. I'm not sure how it felt out there. Did the car feel pretty unstable?
It wasn't.
I know you had a lot of pressure behind you.
You did have a lot of laps on those mediums, yeah.
30,
like 24,
30
28? Oh, yeah, well, maybe I was looking at a different point in the race, but yeah, I remember them at least being at like 28 or something like that.
I think I had 30 crossing the line because I pitted around lap 8, 9 for the forum, yeah.
I mean,
I knew the hards could do pretty much the entire race, and I saw someone do 30 laps on the hards before pretty decently, so I just thought I'd do the mediums.
Well, I mean, David, while he was losing massive time, I mean, he did almost the entire, I think it was like 32 laps, 33 laps.
Yeah, 33
on
laps.
the mediums. So like that's why that train was starting to build up for P2, 3, 4, and I think P5 as well. So, I mean, a great race from Nat as well, pulling that strategy, getting up the grid from 7th, getting into the podium places. But we've got Bio up next. Bio, I mean, how are you feeling right now? How after last week? The steward's decision didn't go your way. I know you were feeling a certain type of way about that steward's decision. How does it feel to get back with a win this week here at Monaco?
Wow, wow, wow. Just not a win. This is in Monaco, baby. Look, I had a terrible penalty on me last week. I hit the guy's back wheel. I spun him. That took away my first podium in this league. And I was angry. I was so angry. I tried getting my way at the stewards. I tried everything. I came in this race week and not expecting to win. I expect to crash into somebody and take him out, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm starting on the hards, you know? I look around me. There's nobody else on the hards. All on the mediums or on softs. I'm pretty sure Nat was behind me at the start. I get overtaken by 3 people, and I'm like, oh, crap. Was mediums the right choice? and then I was just racing. I kept it clean, got no penalties all the way through, only got 2 warnings. Then I see David 6 seconds in front of me, but I'm not sure if he pitted or not. But I see him catching him, and then he holds me up for so long, and I'm like, all right, Canadian's going to win this. We're going to get a 1-2. I'm fine with that. And then I see Canadian go in the pits, and I'm like, whoa, we might have a chance for a win. And I push as hard as I can. I had damage since lap like 4. I told Jeff I'm not coming in the whole race. He kept trying to get me in every time. I'm like, no, I'm finishing this race. And, oh my God, it was worth it.
I mean,
No,
yeah,
very
that was
impressive drive out there.
that was an insane race to watch. We didn't catch why Canadian had to go into the pits. Really, nobody was around him. We just assumed that he was just gonna bring it home. I saw him have one little shaky moment in the second chicane, but other than that, I just assumed that he would bring it home. And yeah, as we saw him go into the pits, and obviously you took hold of the lead. And by that point, I knew it would probably be hard for Nat to catch you up on how old his tires were. I mean, once you got into the lead, did you think? I mean, was there any chance? Did you think? Were you even pushing really, or were you just really just keeping it on track?
I mean, yeah, I was pushing as hard as I can because I still had 2 people in front of me, and at this track, it's real easy to pick up damage or, like, spin. Like, I spun twice during qualifying about hitting the wall into the chicane. So I was just trying to keep it clean. I caught up to David, then he held me up for around 5 to 10 laps, and that's what let Nat.
You defended quite a bit against Nat when you were behind David.
Yeah, I was trying to make moves on David, too. I was trying to pressurize him into some corners. I was acting like I was going to dive bomb him. But I don't think it was worth it to pick up damage. My teammate was in first place. It would have been a great point finish at all, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great race to watch. I mean, great race from all 3 of you. Do you want to go ahead and outro us, Celestial? Let's go ahead and get out of here.
All right, yep. We appreciate all the viewers and stuff at another exciting race here at Monaco. We'll look to see y'all again next Wednesday at 9 Eastern, I believe.
Yeah, and we are at, what track are we at? We are at
Baku.
Azerbaijan, Baku.
Azerbaijan, Baku.
So we will see you guys for round 4.
Expect another podium.